Hello and welcome to the Huddle. I'm your host, JT Thomas, broadcasting live from the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here tonight with West Virginia legends. We have Pat White, Coach Neely, and the Willie Edwards. Glad to have you guys. Guys, we are just coming off the road from Kansas State. We just watched a hell of a game, WVU versus the Kansas State Wildcats. Last week, Pat, a couple of weeks ago, we were concerned going into Kansas, but yet the Mountaineers found a way to go in there, and the first half looked pretty well. And I thought it was going to be concerning. We had a few turnovers early on. What do you think about that first half?
I thought they came out pretty fast first half. One thing with us this year is we can't put together a complete game. It's like they either get two up or two down when they get up and can't keep the momentum going for 4 quarters. So that's one thing I would like to see from them for the next 2 games.
Coach Neal, what do you think about that first half?
Well, thank goodness for the first half, because the second half was nondescript. But let's be honest, both teams were poor. Kansas State played poor, and we played poor. But when you play poor and still win, then you must be pretty good. So I would like to see us establish the run. Yep. We're depending too much on our quarterback. He gets a sprained ankle or a sore shoulder, we're in a heap of trouble. We got to learn to run the football. If you can run the football, everything else will take care of itself. Believe me, I've been around this game a long time.
Absolutely.
And those guys that can run are those guys that win. I'll tell you that. So that's what I hope we learn to do the next 2 weeks is run the football.
Coach, it was even interesting that, that game was a little rainy. But yet we were still able to throw the ball around. But I agree with Coach Neal. It's so important to establish the run. What do you think early on, Will?
Well, I was concerned about, coming off the high from, beating Iowa State that, we'd come out flat, and I think we did that a little bit. But back to what Pat was saying, you got to be able to put 2 halves together. And, again, what Coach Neal was saying, you got to run the ball. We talk about that every week. You look at the great teams in college football, they run the ball effectively. Alabama, they run the ball, Georgia, Clemson. But that allows them to throw the deep ball because, you start putting 8 in the box. Now that forces your guys on the outside to play man-to-man coverage, and then you can, exploit them and have some passes deep down the field. So, we're going to get to a point where if we can't run the ball, they're going to put 8 in the box and say, you know what, our guys are better than your guys. What are you going to do about it? And bring heat on them. So, eventually it's going to catch up with us, and it hasn't yet. But, we still got Oklahoma out there waiting for us. So, Texas is a very good team. So, if we don't get the running game going, it's going to catch up with us.
I'm going to be devil advocate for a minute. For instance, you're going to get people say that first half was a filling out type of situation. They were filling us out. We were filling them out. And we would make these adjustments at the second half. Can I use that for more than 1 quarter, though, Coach?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Tell me, can you? I would think, JT, the second half, both teams did a great job of adjusting because nobody could score any points. Pat and Willie are exactly right. You got to play all 4 quarters. You got to put some points on the board. Football's changed a little bit. For a long time when I coached, we played in a phone booth. Just beat each other up.
Football did, Coach. Football.
And now they use all the field.
The whole field, yep.
Now we got to tackle those little rabbits out in space.
Right.
So you got to get speed on the defense to counteract these spread offenses. And like Willie says, when you spread them out, you know what they're doing. They got a lot of guys in here, you throw it out there. They got a lot of guys out there, you run it in here. Even I can figure that out.
Absolutely.
So Pat White, he figured it out.
Absolutely.
We weren't tough enough to run the wing tee, so we had to spread it out.
Wing tee. Oh my goodness.
We
had a tight end. You ever heard of a tight end?
A
tight end?
We had a tight end.
Pat, I'm not that old now. We still got him in the eye a little bit.
There you go.
Well, but JT, I want to say my issues. The thing that I think about is I watched the Oklahoma State game 62 to 52. 62 points. And Oklahoma's, they're saying they're one of the best teams in the country this year. They got 52 points hung on them. So if we can't score points in the second half of a game, we're going to be in a world of trouble.
You know, Willie, you just said, now here's Oklahoma that's bouncing around between 1 and 4. And they've had 55 points scored on them. I tell you, they're not one of the top 4 teams in America. No way, in my opinion. When you get that many points scored on you, they've had 35, 32, 55, and somebody tells me they're the best team. Hey, control the football. Don't let David Mayfield play. Put his butt on the bench and keep him there. That's how you beat Oklahoma. If they're going to give up that many yards, I'd like to play them.
Yeah. Coach, you know what a lot of people are saying? Well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. We know Kansas State is in their 3rd quarterback. And they talk about how instrumental that was in West Virginia winning. I'm going to talk to my cousin, former Wildcat this week. He's going to say to me, JT, you were playing against my 3rd quarterback. What is he going to say to that, Pat?
Early on, you could tell that the quarterback was young, and we knew it going into the game. We allowed him to get confidence, and you can see as the game went on, he got more and more confidence and got better and better and better. His coach didn't put him in great situations with some play calling late. But to go back to our running game, which Coach Needham was talking about, we have an excellent group of receivers, very talented bunch of guys who are putting up great numbers. Now imagine if people were worried about the run as well, the type of numbers they'd be putting up. So.
Yep. All right, complete game. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the complete game. Right now, the first person scored a touchdown, Kawan Wright, 75 yards down the field. I guess when you see stuff like that working well, they may not want to change it. They feel like they can exploit the defense in some sort of way.
But again, when you come up against the defense and their back half is better than what your receivers are, and that's going to happen because you got some. And I said this before, I looked at some of the defensive backs in the Big 12. You know, when I play, you could be my height and be a decent corner. When you got receivers that are 6'6", 6'5", you can't have a 5'8", 5'9" corner. You got guys that are 6'5", that can flat out run. But then you got those defensive backs now, and those guys are 6'2", 6'3", so now they can compete with those guys. So, yeah, we got some great receivers. But at the same time, like Coach Needham said, if our quarterback gets nicked up, and we'll be in that K-State situation, you know. So you don't want to get in that situation where you're a pass-happy team, and then you bring another guy in who hasn't been in the offense all year, and now, you know, what do you do then?
Right. I get it, guys. I get it. It seems like the consensus is we need to run the ball a little bit more. Well, not even necessarily run the ball more, Coach. Just be a more balanced football team. For the most part, if we want to see bigger things happen, balance is always something that coaches strive for. Would you say that, Coach?
Oh, yeah, there's no question. Great teams have great balance. Great teams are predictable because they do what they do and they do it well, so they continue to do it. But no question, balance. And, you know, balance is a word and a term that means different things to different people. To Woody Hayes, balance meant 8 runs and 2 passes.
Okay.
That was balance to him. To Dana Holgerson, maybe out of 10, maybe it's 6'4", 5'5".
Right.
And that's balance. So I worked for Bo Schembechler for 3 years, and balance to Bo was about 6.5 to 3.5, 7.3, something like that. And so balance is a term that you're not sure how it works, but great football teams in their mind are balanced.
I get it. Will, so with that being said, Will, quickly, because we're going to get into giving away some stuff here in a little bit. Okay. Right up into the first half, right? We're getting ready, it's halftime, it's going into halftime. And we come away with, what was it, a miracle or just the ability of Will Greer to be the quarterback that he is?
I think he's a pretty talented quarterback.
He is.
Very talented. I think the team, they trust him with the ball in his hands, you know, anywhere on the field. And go back to what Pat was saying, we got some reliable receivers. We got, 4 guys that can, 3 that I know can let her catch the ball. We don't have that speed burner that can stress the defense vertically down the field, but we got guys that can, work in space and, run great routes, to get to the points and, great ball skills. So, I love Will Greer. He's my home. I'm from North Carolina. Will's from North Carolina, so that's my homeboy. So, the thing I saw in the Virginia Tech game, they were down and they were driving, and we needed a first down. He was willing to, I think he dove over top of a guy. He took a nice shot, but if I'm an offensive guy, I'm looking at this guy going, oh, okay, he's that type of quarterback. He's going to do that to get a first down. Okay, I got to do more than what I'm already doing. So, you rally around a quarterback like that, and you put your faith in him, and then, I think he's doing a great job so far.
He is absolutely doing a great job, man. We're going to cut it right there because I'm going to give somebody a chair to win one of these things here, man. This is a cool little...
I want that.
Cool, I was sitting there saying the same thing. This is nice for my collection. But, guys, to win, you got to be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us here, you can go check us out at thedominionpost.com. Here's your first question. And all you have to do is raise your hand, and if you listen to the conversation, you'd have certainly heard the answer to this first question. Who was the first person to score a touchdown for WVU this weekend? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Oh, she's on it. She's on it. Let's see.
Karan White.
Karan Wright. Yes,
Karan
absolutely right. Fingers on the trigger. There you go. Great job. Again, guys, you guys can win too. All you have to do is be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us here, make sure you go check us out at dominionpost.com. Coach, let's keep this theme of quarterback going on. Obviously, we got a great quarterback sitting next to us. Mark Greer kind of puts me in the mind of a combination of quarterbacks for you. And that would be Bolger. Mark Bolger, because he can throw the ball kind of like Mark. But his head, would you say he's more like Jeff a bit? He's just smart. The kid just sits around and find football players to throw the ball to. What do you think?
Well, I think
you've seen a lot of them, though, Coach.
Yeah. Well, if you compare he and Mark, they both had great arms, very accurate. This kid has better feet. Mark couldn't beat you with his feet, and he didn't want to beat you with his feet. This guy doesn't want to beat you with his feet, but he does at times. And he has great escapability. He wiggles out of things that I never dreamed that he could wiggle out of. And then when you give him some time, he can get him the football. I think he's excellent. And right now he's carrying the load, big time. He's doing everything. His stats are unbelievable. And the other thing about him is it's obvious to me he has that it. Pat had it. And what is it? I don't know what it is. But when you go in the huddle, when that quarterback has it, the other 10 play better. He lifts those guys up. It's kind of like a quarterback that goes in that huddle and boom, boom, boom. And one that goes in, those kids respond. And he has it.
Pat, let's talk about that it, right? And I think we all here agree that you certainly had that it. When you're in the huddle, and I talk about this year, Greer doesn't seem to be nervous, or he doesn't seem to put out any energy that he's jittery about if he's going to win, or he just seems to be low-key, focused on doing his job. What is it like to be in there and have your back up against the wall and come through?
Well, I think Will is a spider. He has eyes all over his head. They can't touch him in the pocket, so that's fun for me to watch. It's just the energy that he brings. He's confident that he knows the game plan. He's confident that he can get the job done. So it's about letting the other guys know and giving them the same feeling so they can go out and compete with you and for you.
Right. He doesn't even say much. The guy, has he been interviewed yet?
I don't know if he can speak. I haven't heard anything. So
he just seems to be a guy that comes to do his job, and he comes in there and he gets it done. But guys, we're gonna keep more. We're just not gonna talk about offense. We're gonna talk about a little defense. We got these defensive guys over here. Coach know a little bit about defense. Defense, I have to say, I'm proud of those guys. we've been that the mentality will has been bend but don't break, and that's commendable. What do you think about defense?
I'm a defensive guy, so I love watching defense. And I kind of joked with you earlier. I say, Coach Gibson's back must be hurt because he's carrying this football team because the defense has been, the offense didn't score any points in the second half. 4 quarters now. They've gone in the second half that they haven't scored any points in the defense. They had to come up big, and and I think they've done that, and they've done that with a lot of injuries. You had a freshman corner had to come in the game the other day and play very well, made some big plays for us. So we still got one of our linebackers is hurt. So I think when you can mix and match and put guys in, and 1 week you have this guy in the game, and the next week you have that guy in the game, that means those guys are well coached. Because you want to try to keep that unit together and play multiple games, but when you have to mix and match and guys are getting hurt, that's commendable to the defensive staff because you get those guys game ready, every week because sometimes you don't know who you're going to have and who you're not going to have. Because you might go into a game like we did against, I think it was Oklahoma State. Our linebacker got hurt, I think either the second or third play of the game, and we had to bring another kid in, a freshman kid. So that defense is a mindset.
Yep.
And, they have those guys ready, and they get after it.
It does. Coach, I had the pleasure of having my former coach, Coach Dunlap, sit here 2 weeks ago. And we talked about defense, and we both got a little animated about it because we talked, we're about attack. I'd be honest with you, Coach, I was really worried about running this 3-3-5 deal. Although it's been good for West Virginia here in the Big 12, the thing that I worry about the most, Coach, is depth at that defensive line. But yet these guys been able to come play week in and week out, and it really hadn't been a problem for us so far.
Well, like Willie said, hey, the defense has done a great job. Can you imagine we turned the ball over 4 times?
Yeah.
And you turn the ball over 4 times, you lose.
Yes.
And the defense bailed us out every time. I think they got 3 points off those 4 turnovers. And but the 3 down linemen, there's strengths and there's weakness to that. Number 1, you're not going to get a pass rush unless you blitz. Because they got 5 guys to block 3. People sit up in the stand and says, what's wrong with those guys? Well, what's wrong with them is they got more blockers than we got rushers.
Right.
So we're not going to get a pass rush. But on the other hand, we got more guys that can run the ball down.
Those hybrid
So
guys.
you give up something to get something. And from that look, you can show different things. Boom, boom, boom. They don't know who's coming. So when you want to get a pass rush, and we've got a lot of pass rushes, and we've got the quarterbacks because they look like they're not coming and they come from different angles. And we're standing people up, which is very, very smart. Don't let them know which way to turn. If the back's over here, then they're going to turn that way. If the back's over here, they're going to turn that way. And when all these guys are moving around, these guys don't know who to block. So I think there's a lot of pluses to that defense, and yet there's also a minus. And you also have to understand, JT, and I'm a defensive guy. Hey, I've always felt you win championships with defense. You win games with offense. But you got 16 zones to cover, and you only got 11 guys. So every time that ball is snapped, there's 5 zones open. Just that simple. Now, if those offensive guys can find those zones, you got a problem. So, guys are going to score some touchdowns on you just because the field's pretty big and you only got 11 guys to patrol it. So, I just taught you something.
I was just going to say that. You just taught me something. I didn't know about the 16 zones. I didn't know about the 16 zones. I got to go back now and look that up, Coach. That's all right. That's all right. I like that.
If I can add a little bit
there's 8 running.
Right.
There's 5 underneath, and there's 3 deep. 8, 5, and 3. How many is that? JT?
Okay, Coach, you got it. I got it now.
Okay.
What you got, Pat?
Just to add a little bit of my 2 cents, I thought the weakness would be our defensive line.
Yeah.
But I saw last week they were rotating an entire defensive line in and out of the game, which shows a lot of depth.
Yeah.
And coaching, as you said, it says a lot about the coaching and what they've done with what they have.
And guys, you just can't put enough emphasis on that, right? Because guys tend to play together, right? You know what the guy next to you is going to be doing, especially in the defensive line. And even, not just about defense, offense, the linebackers. We as linebackers need to know who's where. I need to know who's stronger. I know who's going to hold a guy longer. The fact that they're able to do that really speaks to what coach is doing. Again, I get excited about it. I was talking to Pat earlier about David Long.
David Long.
Yeah, David Long, and how well he has done. Again, guys, I thought our defense did really well. We'll continue to talk about it, but right now we're going to give away something. So again, I'm going to give you a fill in the blank. This will be the first time we do the fill in the blank. For all you Mountaineer fans, if you call yourself a Mountaineer fan, you should know the answer to this fill in the blank. But to get the fill in the blank, you got to be here on Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us here, make sure you go check us out at thedominionpost.com. Guys, all you have to do, raise your hand at the end of this sentence, and we will find us a winner. And go ahead and, hey, Pat, would you take that out of that? Because we're going to let you do this. In 2008, Pat White became the first quarterback to win blank. Uh-oh.
They can't keep winning everything.
You gotta know this one.
They win everything.
He was the first quarterback to win blank.
4 straight bowl games.
Yes, who did that? That's pretty good. There you go. Good job. And you're gonna get a pass from Pat White.
Oh, hold on,
There
break
you
now.
go. And he caught it, yes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We got to talk to Hoganson about that guy. Yes, sir. Guys, you got to win. You got to be down here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Guys, we're going to just talk it up a little bit more about defense because I cannot leave this conversation without talking about Zeke Rose, number 91, the defensive lineman that caught interception. Coach, you know that's the lineman's dream, right? Listen. Back in the 90s, Pat, that probably wasn't probable unless we did like a drop in or something. Well, Canoe Curtis could do that. He could drop in, but he was more of a linebacker.
Yeah, zone blitz.
Yeah, oftentimes you don't get linemen that get those interceptions. Talk about that a little bit, Coach. How thrilled that guy must have been.
Oh, I guarantee he was thrilled to death, brother. I was shocked to death, and he was thrilled to death. Can you imagine? They took a freshman quarterback with 30 seconds to go in the half, and they're ahead, and they throw the football.
Wow.
They throw the football with a quarterback that hadn't got any confidence yet.
Right.
But anyhow, we made a great play. The kid threw the ball right to him. He reached up and made a nice catch, and that play right there won the game for us.
Yep.
That was the big play.
Coach, I remember you used to say, you keep playing and good things will happen.
That's right.
You keep on playing, right? You keep on playing. When you stop playing and you give up, you can't get those good things. But if you keep playing, good things will happen.
80 slugs. Remember 80 slugs?
80 slugs. Yes, I did. Yes,
That's
I do.
right.
Yes, I do.
Get ready to do it.
Guys, again, it is so. So I'm going to go to Pat. Changes of the game. Changes of the game when we talk about the ability for our defense to be able to come up with turnovers. We had a second interception I think was pivotal for the game. Again, all those turnovers, like Coach said, on our board we used to say 3+ you can win a ball game. That's a stat that we had in our football office. If we get 3+ in the turnover bracket, we win a football game. How pivotal was the second interception for the Mountaineers?
Anytime you can get turnovers, it can change the momentum of the game, especially with an offense like we have where even on a broken play, it can turn out to be a big play for us. So, anytime we get the ball back in the offensive hands, it gives them an extra, I guess, series to put more points on the board. So, it's always a positive. Like Coach Needham was saying earlier, I think we had, 4 turnovers? So it's pretty unique for us to have that many turnovers and win. It says a lot about our defense.
Right. And nobody ever gave up. It was just, and I have to say, Coach, I was concerned because Kansas State, for the most part, had us for lunch for a couple years. And I was concerned that Dana was going into the doghouse. Well, it was the Wildcat house. And Coach Snyder, not Snyder, what's his name?
Snyder.
Yeah, Coach Snyder. I'll tell you why I forgot that. But Coach Snyder, going in his house, that guy is just a mastermind. He kind of methodical. He kind of sits over there, Coach, and just sits there and thinks through stuff. What do you know about Coach Snyder?
Well, he's a heck of a guy. Good friend of mine and very polite. Doesn't say much. He must carry a big stick because what he's done there is unbelievable. When he went to Kansas State, they were terrible. He's made them very, very competitive. And he had our number for a while. And he's had a lot of injuries. But his team, even though he's had a lot of problems, they're still very competitive. I mean, we had to fight like the devil to beat them, and everybody that plays them. And, you know, he's playing with down-the-line guys, and yet he still gets maximum effort out of them. So Bill Snyder he's going to, you know, he'll go in the Hall of Fame as soon as he retires, and they've already named the stadium after him. So he's a special guy. And I've never, ever contacted Bill Snyder that within 4 or 5 days I didn't get a handwritten note back from him. So that tells you something about him. Got a lot of character.
Absolutely. I had the great pleasure going to Kansas State on a recruit trip. If you remember, you guys got me out of Kansas. I went to a junior college out there. So I tripped Kansas State, KU, and I was supposed to go to Oklahoma State. Never made it to Oklahoma State. Came to West Virginia, fell in love. You guys played in 1993 against Miami. Since I'm from Florida, it worked out for me. So I have nothing but good things to say about Kansas State as well. My coach ended up, my two cousins, both of my cousins, Eric Dixon and Jimmy Dean, both went to Kansas State. And the Mountaineers had the good fortune of picking me up in that. It worked out great, Coach, right? It worked out just like it was planned.
You were a good player.
I had fun. You guys made it real fun for me. And I'm sure everyone here can say that. All right, let's keep it going, guys. Now, Coach, this is a topic that we often don't like to discuss on this show. And I hate to say, because, you know, when we talk about football, we talk about three sides of the ball. So offense, defense, we got to talk about special teams, Coach. And the consensus has been, we're not doing anything wrong on special teams. A couple years ago, we were fumbling the ball on punt return. Now we're possessing the ball. We'd like to see more productivity on special teams. What do you think about special teams, Coach?
What do I think about them? I think they're 1/3 of the game.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
And I've told you 100 times, special teams are for special guys.
Yes, sir.
And, the guy that epitomizes special teams at West Virginia University is Ron Wolfley, Dale's brother. He was an all-pro about 4 or 5 times in a row on special teams.
Wow, didn't know that.
And he was such an unselfish guy. He was our fullback, and he came to us as a tailback. And when I moved him to fullback, I said, now, you know, Ron, your neck's going to get a little shorter, and instead of carrying the ball 25 times, you're going to carry it 4. And you know what he said? Coach, if that's what we need to do, let's do it. And that's why he was a great special teams player, because he was a special guy. Now, if you can find 11 Ron Wolfleys, you got something going for you.
Oh, yeah. Right. Wow. I get it. Pat, you played with a tremendous guy, Tavon Austin, right? And we haven't seen the guy.
No, I did.
You did.
I got to watch him play. It
was after you?
Yeah, I'm old.
Man, I'm getting old. We're getting old. We're getting old. Well, guys like Tavon Austin that pop in my mind, because I know JT played with him. In fact, I remember he was being recruited. Okay, I got it. So, you know, those are dynamic guys, and they come dominant. Well, I shouldn't say dominant. They're very rare. When the next time, I mean, how hard is it to find a guy like Tavon Austin?
Oh, boy.
Be like finding Pat White.
Yeah, he's one of the million.
Yeah,
He's
when's
special.
the next Pat White and Steve Slayton coming along? You know, that's hard to find.
I'd have been a pretty good coach if I'd have had a few of them. I'll tell you that.
The guy they have back now, what's his name?
Sims. I like Marcus Sims. I like Marcus
He can go.
Yeah.
He hadn't gotten open. We hadn't seen.
Right.
getting out open and go. But I know he has the wheels. I don't know if he has the mobility and nimbleness that Tavon had, but he can run.
Well, the thing, Pat, is our punt return, is that what we're talking about? It's not set up to set up a wall. We're going to go return right or return left. We just want to possess the ball, like you said, because we have a high potent offense. Just get the ball, don't fumble it, and let us go. Back when we played, we set up a wall, and I think when you have our special teams, it doesn't hurt you, but it's not helping you. Because if you get a nice big return, they could turn the game around just like that. So you don't put that much pressure on your offense to have to go. Say he feels a punt on the 20-yard line. All right, and it's a minute and a half left. Well, if he feels it and he runs it back past the 50 onto their 40, the play calling changes right now. So I would love to see us set up some walls, but it's not going to happen. So
can I play a little devil's advocate? Do you think that since Coach Hogerson has taken over special teams, you think he's playing it safe to save his butt so he won't hear from the press about?
You know what I think, because why I brought that up, if you watch that Reed kid from Kansas State, boy, they did, and they almost broke one back on him. They did a double wall, Coach. They let the snapper run up the field. They had a personal protector in front of the guy that was going to catch the ball, and they set both walls. The guy got to the left wall, one block, and this guy's in the end zone.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about it week in and week out. I'm not being critical. It's a different time now. They're more interested in possessing the ball and being able to play from there. Again, I just think that's where we are.
Yeah. Well, apparently they don't have a lot of confidence in that guy catching the ball. And you can't have a punt return unless you catch a ball.
Right.
Now, Iowa State did a great job of peeling that thing off, too.
Right.
And every time I saw Iowa State play, they came within a whisker of breaking a punt return. And now there's a team that's got average players. And they're really playing well together as a team. You can win with special teams.
Absolutely.
You look at Virginia Tech for years. People feared their punt returns. I remember when I coached at Bowling Green, Southern Illinois was unbelievable. They blocked a punt every single game. And when we played them, we spent 15 minutes on punt protection every day just because of what they did. And so there's no question. You can get an edge on special teams. And if you're an average football team with average players, there's a place that you may get an edge on your opponent, is in special teams. Spend a little more time than they do, have a great scheme, make sure your kids believe in it, spend some time on the board with them, spend time in the film room with them. You can get an edge on a guy and say they're better than you are, both offensively and defensively, but you're better than they are on special teams, and they make a mistake on offense, you may win the game. I agree. When I worked for Bo Schembechler, I remember him telling me, he said, Don, you don't have to win the game. The other team will give it to you if you hang around long enough. And Kansas State gave us the game.
Right.
Yep, we hung around, and they gave us the game. And if you watch most teams play, that's what happens.
I get it. Well, Coach, let's talk about you for a little bit. You snuck an award. You've been awarded, and you got 100 accolades all over the place, but you snuck one on us this year. This year, you got the Amos Alonzo Stagg Award, which goes to the individual or group whose service has been outstanding in the advancement of the best interests of football. Congratulations on that, Coach. Can't say, couldn't went to a better guy. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, first of all, I was shocked because that's the number one award that a college football coach can win. And if you looked at the past recipients, it's the who's who of college football. But, and it was on live TV, it was on CBS, and it was at Opryland in Nashville. And it's a award I got a tremendous plaque. They treated me like $1 million. I had a dressing room where these country western stars, they got all these names up on them.
That's all right.
And Jeff and Vicky and Danny and Janie went with me, and the university flew us there in the plane, and it was a big time affair. Like I say, that's the number one award for a college football coach. Other than the Hall of Fame, you can't get any better. And be honest, when I got the letter, I checked the envelope. I thought I did. So I was sitting there, and my wife is sick, and I have around-the-clock help. And this girl brings me the mail, and I open this thing up, and I start to read it, and I got the envelope, see if they sent it to the right daggone guy. But it's flattering, it's humbling.
Well deserved.
Because when I came to West Virginia, gang, I don't mind telling you, things were bad.
Right. 1979 was it?
Yeah, they had 4 or 5 straight losing seasons. They sold 4,000 season tickets and averaged 18,000 people to a game.
Wow.
And they were known as one of the 10 worst football teams in America. And the screening committee wanted to know if I could beat Pitt and Penn State. I said, well, you lost to Richmond and Temple last year. I said, I think we better try to beat those guys first. But that's a true story. I'm letting these goddamn guys know all kinds of things. But to build a program, you got to have a lot of help. And I had a lot of help because I had a great, when Dr. Geek came, he didn't know a thing about football, but he was smart enough to know he could raise a lot of money, and he had 50,000 people here. And I don't know what year it was that we wrapped the stadium around, built a bowl, and we did a lot of good things. Built the indoor facility, got the practice fields. Just to show you how things changed, when we built the practice fields, before every practice we lined the team up and we walked across it, picked up the rocks, threw them over that end, walked back, threw them over there, and started practice. Yeah, we did that. And you know what was amazing? Every day we did it, there were still more rocks. I don't know where they came from. I think there was some guy came out at night and threw them back. But anyhow, we had a lot of fun building it.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, Coach, that's a great accomplishment. Just to give everybody some insight on who Amos Alonzo Stagg is, he started the American Football Association in 1920. The American Football Coaches Association, 1920. Yep. All right, guys. How much time we got? 15 minutes. Great. We're going to talk a little bit more, and we're going to get into this. Guys, before I go to questions, I want to talk about upcoming. We got Texas coming up, Coach. And although Texas is, people, it's a down year for them, or they're not doing as well as they did. It's Texas, Coach. When you got Texas coming in, you got to strap up a little bit, Coach. What do you think about it?
Oh, I think we better strap up. That's what I think. And, they're having trouble offensively. I don't know exactly why. They're playing a they're playing a sophomore quarterback and a freshman quarterback. And they're having trouble deciding, I guess, which guy. And, the strength of their football team is their defense. They play very, very well. And they're getting better on offense. And they'll test us. You can formation us and force a guy that's used to playing in space and make him play on the line of scrimmage. And now you take a big fellow and poof, knock that little guy off just by formation. 2 tight ends, two tight ends, and 1 running back and 2 flanks. Trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Trouble.
Especially for that 3-3-5.
And they can read you with the safeties. If you're running real well, you're bringing one down. They're going to run opposite the down safety. So, I would assume their coaches are smart and can see things, and they may do that to us. And we better be ready to handle that because they got a back that's continually getting better.
Yep.
And I can't imagine Texas not having a guy that can run with the football.
Right.
And I can't imagine Texas not having good skill in the secondary, Willie. With all those kids out there, I mean, Texas is big as we could put, 3 West Virginians in there? I would think. At least 2, Pat.
At least.
At least 2.
At least 2 for sure.
Yeah. So they got to have. It just blows me away that they've gone 4 years without winning. When I was a kid, man, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Florida, man, those were tremendous football teams. Nebraska. So I don't know what's happened to Texas. They're paying this guy $9 billion. So you would think he'd be able to,
get him going.
Get it done.
Yeah. Pat, talk to me about Texas. I mean, I just don't. It's not a team. After you have a close game against the Kansas State, it's not a team that you can sit back and just wait on.
Yeah, well, definitely can't overlook them. Looking forward to Oklahoma. The one advantage I think we have is that we run a 3-3-5, and they do have a young quarterback. And unless you've gone against that once or twice, it's a little difficult to get adjusted to. With different people coming from different angles, different areas. So, I mean, I think we have a great chance of winning if we come out and perform. I think we are the better team this year. So we'll see. But to get off subject a little bit and clarify what I said a little bit about the wing T, I wasn't saying that you all played the wing T. I'm saying we weren't tough enough, so he put us in shotgun, and we went the wing T from shotgun. So
nice cleanup. I like it. Nice cleanup. What Texas
I thought
worries
he just
me,
thought I was an old coach.
What you got, Will?
I said, Texas worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
And Coach Nealon, talked about their running back. He's a very good running back. Now, the quarterback situation, I watched when Oklahoma played Texas. And Texas had them dead to right. They should have beat them. The freshman quarterback is the one that brought him back. The sophomore you're talking about, Coach, he wasn't playing very well. I think he got injured. They brought in the freshman, and he lit Oklahoma up. I mean, as far as getting out of the pocket and running, big physical kid, could throw the ball. I mean, changed the whole dynamic of their offense. But I think this kid is injured now, so they went back to this other guy, which is good for us. Because anytime you got a quarterback that can stand in the pocket and throw it, and once he gets out of the pocket, put pressure on your defense, that's tough. That's just like going back to a Pat White or Major Harris. You don't know what they're going to do because they can throw the ball and they can run the ball. But the guy who's playing for him now, at quarterback, the sophomore, he's a pocket passer. He doesn't want to run. He'll run if he's forced to. So I think at that we have an advantage in that situation. But we, like Coach said, we better strap it up because they're a big physical team and they're going.
It makes it difficult to game for a guy like that or a team like that where you're just unsure what the matchup's going to be. Well,
I think maybe that I saw that game too, Willie. You're exactly right. That kid lit him up.
Yeah.
I thought Texas was going to win the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I think he's healthy.
Oh, is he? Oh.
I think he, maybe not healthy, but I think he's healthy enough to play. So he was, who'd they play last week? Kansas?
Yes, they beat Kansas 42 or something.
Yeah, I think I think he played some in that game,
Okay.
but I don't know for sure.
Well,
But I
if,
think so.
if you get this message, you want to stay home, we're okay with it. We're certainly okay with that. But we're going to make a game of it. But real quick, guys, before we get into fans asking questions, I want to throw a trivia at you. And you're going to win 1 year subscription to Dominion Post. And again, to win this kind of stuff, guys, you got to be down here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. And if you're not here, go check us out at DominionPost.com. All right, guys, all you have to do is raise your hand. We'll bring the mic over to you. And all you have to do is tell me what Amos Alonzo Stagg started. I mentioned it during the conversation. What did he start? 1920. See, that's why you got to pay attention.
The American Football Coaches Association.
That is correct, sir. Thank you for paying attention. Guys, that's just that simple. All you got to do is come down here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Now, I might have to invite Pat and Coach Dillon back because a whole bunch of y'all came out tonight. But again, guys, let's get after it. We're going to finish up and then we're going to get into, you guys stick around so you can ask questions. We always enjoy the guys or the guests asking questions. All right, Coach, any more last thoughts for the Texas game? Any last thoughts?
Me?
Yes.
Strap it up. 80 slugs.
80 slugs.
Don't take any plays off.
No plays off.
80. Whew. Our defense had to play that many snaps in the first half against
Willie, you
Oklahoma
used to
State.
play 80.
Yeah, but it wasn't 80 in the first half, though. I mean, you get those high-powered offenses, man. You can play 50 snaps in the first half.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Crazy.
a lot of snaps, man. That's crazy. And I know another thing you used to say besides 80 slugs is you'd always say lock the gate. You know, bring them into the stadium, lock the gate, beat them up, open the gate, and let them go home.
That's right.
Pat, it was so much fun to play with Coach Dillon, boy. I remember, man, we'd be at the Lakeview, and man, he'd have you almost ready to run through a wall. I'm telling you, by the time he finished with his speech, and he knocked that chalkboard down.
He did it for you too, huh?
Great motivator, huh?
Yeah. Well, I got one thing. I remember because on Saturday morning.
Come on, JT.
Hey, when he knocked that chalkboard down, you ready to go.
Yeah.
You ready to run through the wall.
I'm sure Coach don't remember this, but Dave Lockwood, he and I were, I think we were roommates that one year out at Lakeview, and we woke up late to come down for breakfast. And so everyone had to stand behind a chair, and we'd say grace, and then we'd sit down and eat. Well, they had already started saying grace, and, Dave and I run down, and we stand behind our chair. And, prayer was over. Coach Nealon said, get out. You don't come late. We didn't get to eat anything before the game. And I'm telling you, at halftime, when they gave out those oranges, I was But you know what? The one thing I learned about Coach, he said, you take care of the little things, the big things to take care of themselves. So being on time and stuff like that, I've carried that with me. My wife gets mad at me all the time, Coach, because I'm a on-time, regimented person, and I learned it the hard way.
Willie's, I don't know if people know this, but undefeated football seasons are hard to come by for anybody. And Willie Edwards made one of the biggest plays that cemented the first undefeated football season in the history of West Virginia football. When he picked off, what was that quarterback's name, Willie? Played for Syracuse.
All I know was Darrell Johnson was the fullback who played for the Cowboys for years.
Yeah.
That's who he was throwing it to.
Well, that was
That's
really
what I
good.
remember.
They came in at that time. We played 11 games. They were 8-2. We were 10-0. Mm-hmm. But Willie picked that pass off and went about 40 or 50 yards for a touchdown. And
Take it to the house, Will.
To the house, baby.
when he did that, I knew we were home free. Up till then, I knew we still had because that was a good football team. But that was Willie Edwards from right down the road here that cemented that victory for us.
Jerome Park. Yes, sir. Well, Pat, we're going to open it up to the audience at this moment. Guys, if you have questions, please direct your questions to the panel, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. If you would, raise your hand so we can bring in a mic. Any questions? There we go. Out of the gate. Here we go.
So,
Paul Woodside was my funniest.
Oh my goodness.
He was absolutely a scream.
Yeah.
He kept everybody going, and Paul was he was just a gem to be around. And if you followed our football team, he was our kicker. You know, when his freshman year, we played Florida in the Peach Bowl. He kicked 4 field goals, and the last field goal, when he went out, he said to the referee, "We got to quit meeting like this." And that referee came over after the game, says, "Coach, that kicker you got cracks me up." But Paul was a fun guy, and our players loved him. They loved him because he was an off-the-wall guy. He may paint one shoe pink and one green, and I mean, he did some of the daggondest things you ever saw. We had a team dance, and he had those white shoes that you wear if you go on a boat, and he checkered one black and white and the other, I think, red and white, and he had a tuxedo on, and you know, he walked in there and his girl was all dressed up. Here comes my man Paul with black and white checkered shoes, or red and white checkered shoes, and a daggone tuxedo on. So he was the funniest I ever had.
Well, mine was Major Harris. Major Harris was the funniest. He's still funny to this day. I'm telling you, he was hilarious. So, I mean, not only was he one of the best players I ever played with, but he was the funniest. I mean, you ask anybody that ever played, they give you that same. That'd be the first name that comes off was Major Harris. He was hilarious. But
my guy Pat was, and he's a little known guy, but he is funny. It was Frank Browning. Frank Browning was our guy. Frank came in here as a DB, right? He came in as a DB out of California. He left as a defensive lineman. You remember that? Yeah.
Wow, what a transformation, boy. Wow.
Frank Brown and John Brown, his cousin, came here out of California, junior college. Said he was a DB or in the secondary, and he went from DB to linebacker. He was a Sam linebacker, and he finished up backing up Canute and Bob Baum at defensive end. He was the funniest guy to me. They used to call him and if you look at the old program, he called himself the Fat Master Clay D. He was the funniest guy to me. Funniest guy. What you got, Pat?
For me, Pat McAfee.
Oh, of course. Oh, my goodness.
He's still climbing today. We had something called the Gong Show. At the end of camp, the freshmen would have to come up and give a skit, and coach would make them. Regardless of what year Pat was in school, he was going to be part of the Gong Show. And he was going to pick a few coaches each year to get on their butt and make fun of during the Gong Show, and they all wanted to fight him. But it was in good humor.
Oh, yeah, he's still going.
He's still going. Great question. That was a great question. That's nice to catch on tape. Any other questions? All right. We got to watch out for this lady back here. Is it going to be a question or trivia?
Trivia.
Trivia. Okay.
According to W Sports, name the top 5 quarterbacks to play for WU.
Top 5. Wow.
What was the question?
Top 5 quarterbacks for WU.
Bolger, Harris, Hostetler,
White,
Smith, and White.
Correct. Okay, bonus points if you know number 6. Gary will buy you whatever you want to drink if you name number 6.
The number 6 quarterback. Oliver Luck.
No, he's 7.
He's 7. Wow.
Who?
6.
Clint Trickett.
Excuse me?
Trent. I don't think Trent.
No.
Can you give us an era?
He played in a long time ago.
Rogers,
probably,
I don't know.
I know Pat White wasn't born when this happened.
In the 1970s, Coach. Early 70s?
50s.
1952.
Freddie Wyatt.
Yes.
Right.
There you go.
Way to go.
Nice.
Fred Wyatt.
I forgot he was a quarterback. I had the pleasure of meeting him.
Yeah.
In fact, I was with you when I met him.
Yeah, that's right. You were.
Yeah. Great. All righty. Guys, this was a great one. It has been my pleasure to be in front of you with all three of these legends. But I have to share some news with you. We won't be here next week, but make sure you come back on November 29th. We'll give you guys a break to celebrate the holidays with your family. But guys, keep checking us out on YouTube and going to DominionPost.com. But until next time, stay tuned and huddle up.